What's up, guys? It's your boy TPP, and I'm back with that true crime talk, baby. Let's go. Yo, happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday. Shooting this bad boy on a Thursday. Yeah, don't know if I have a whole lot of time to go live today. So, you know how to drop a premiere on you, how to drop a premiere. And yes, it's a little bit different than what we've been covering. And yes, I have covered this topic. If you go back in the vault, you know what I mean, and check it out, I have covered this topic. But I stopped covering this topic of L.I.S.K, the Long Island serial killer, Rex Heuermann, right? I stopped covering it because, well, I knew there was going to be a lot more to come, and I didn't want to sit there and just hang on every little detail. So you guys know how I am. Plus, I got that true crime ADHD, right? So I got to bounce all over the place. But anyways, we got some new crazy information coming out. Absolutely crazy, guys. So that being said, before we jump into it, do me a huge favor. Everybody that's showing up for this premiere or everybody that's watching replay, do me a huge, huge favor, guys. Smash that like, smash that share. And if you're new here, smash that subscribe. Help your boy out. The trolls be messing with your boy. A bunch of them are subscribing with a bunch of all the accounts and then unsubscribing, trying to hurt your boy in the algorithm. So if you guys can help your boy out, smash those likes, smash those shares, put it out there, help me out in the algorithm. Let's get it growing, baby. Let's keep it growing. Let's keep this momentum we got. But that being said, guys, much love to all my subscribers, much love to all the members. If you want to help support this channel and you have not joined up as a member yet, what you waiting on, y'all? Join the gang, baby. Join the Piscine gang. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this. Let me pull this up for us. All right. So we're gonna watch this press conference, and this is the attorney for the victim's family, the guy that's pretty much been key. I mean, he's been key on keeping this in the spotlight and keeping an investigation going, keeping pressure on this, right? This gentleman. And this gentleman he's got a very interesting look, but from everything I've heard about this gentleman, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. So anyways, we're going to get into this interview, and then I'm going to react a little bit to it and give you my opinions on it. But for those that don't know about, I mean, come on, most of you got to know about the Long Island serial killer already, all right? But if you don't know, go ahead and go back to my old videos. It'll give you a basic rundown of what's up with it. And between those videos and then this press conference, you'll be pretty much caught up on what's going on with this. It's a crazy one, guys. It's a absolutely crazy one. So let me drop this down a little bit. All right. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this press conference.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're here today because new information has arisen in this case from witnesses who were so far unknown. Those witnesses, of which there are 4, have given us statements, 2 of whom have given us affidavits regarding this case, regarding Rex Heuermann and Shannon Gilbert and Karen Vergata. Before I talk about them, first, I want you to be aware that here stands the commissioner, as you know, with me. And up until now, we have not made it known to the public that we have been working together on this case steadily since the time that I came to know Commissioner Harris a year ago, February. Up until that point, the police department was very resistant to receiving any kind of evidence or information from my office from what I was doing. That all changed significantly when Commissioner Harris stepped in, and we...
Big ups to Commissioner Harris. Big ups to that gentleman. Because look where we're at now, right? Look what we're at now. Man, much love with that hat, bro. That boy's styling, man. He's styling.
I began to collaborate, and we've collaborated ever since. That collaboration has had fruit, and that fruit, at least, are the witnesses I'm going to be talking about today, as well as other evidence and information which we have shared together and with the police department, and therefore with the task force. So it is true to say that our cooperation has given rise to more substantial, valuable evidence in the entire case of the Long Island serial killer. So with that in mind, I'm very pleased that Commissioner Harrison has seen fit to open his mind and to do what I'm suggesting has been done, contrary to all those who have come before him. And he's approaching this case in the right way. He's the right man for the job, and he's done his job well. As to the witnesses, as to the evidence, in no particular order of importance, because so much of it is important. I have stood as a beacon as a civilian beacon to the people who are involved in this case to come and talk where they didn't want to approach the police out of fear, out of apprehension, out of a natural, in some cases, a natural distaste for the police department because of the work these people were in.
Like, for real though, if it wasn't for him being the way that he is, you know what I mean? He's more approachable, definitely, than law enforcement for a lot of these people. So I feel like if it wasn't for him, we probably would not get some of these people to come forward. Just my opinion, though.
So they would then come to me and speak to me, and I would interview them, and we would then cooperate, them and the police department. And so with that in mind, the first two witnesses I'm going to talk about are both of them are not Suffolk County residents. I should point out that we obtained from these two affidavits, their names will go unmentioned. Their names are blotted out of the affidavits, but the affidavits will be available to you right after the press conference. As to the first one I'll talk about, this is a witness who has every reason to have no bias, no interest in the case whatsoever. She was not a sex worker, is not a sex worker, and instead, back in the 90s, in the 1990s, she was what is known then and now as a swinger. She would have a sex partner, and they would go to certain sex clubs in New York City where they would switch partners with other people.
So some of this information that's about to come out on this kind of lends to some of the conspiracies in the area where some people thought somebody in law enforcement might have been involved in this. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy.
Like kind. One of the most important places that they would go was called L.I.S.K on West 27th Street in New York, right near Rex Heuermann's office. And this was a notorious place for swapping, for switching partners. Sometimes several hundred people at a time would be involved in this place in its heyday. Its heyday was in the late 90s, right at the time that Karen Brigada is involved in this case. In this situation, this particular woman was dating a police officer from New York City who was in narcotics, a detective, and they would go to these switchy clubs, these swapping clubs.
It's about to get crazy, guys. Hold on. If you ain't seen this, man, hold on.
At a certain time, at or about Valentine's Day of 1996, I believe, the couple went to L.I.S.K, and I think it was on the wall at L.I.S.K where an advertisement was placed to go to a house in Massapequa Park for partying, for switching, for swapping. She went with her boyfriend out to Long Island, but before they went, her boyfriend picked up a woman in New York, in the city, who had apparently just gotten out of jail, and she was disheveled and hungry, and she was a sex worker. We don't know the details yet of how he came to know her, but he knew her. And she came in the car with the two of them. They went to Massapequa Park. Before they got there, they stopped at a gas station, and the girl who was with them expressed some apprehension about where they were going and why. That was all wiped out when it was pointed out that he's a police detective, so don't worry, no problem. They ended up going to Rex Heuermann's house.
Say what? Rex who? Rex Heuermann? Dude, if this stuff is true, oh my Lord, this dude is cooked. And they're already trying to get him on other unalivings in other states. Like, if they end up getting him on another unaliving in another state, it's federal at that point, guys. Dude, it's going to get crazy, man. It's going to get so crazy. But if any of this new information coming out is true, guys, oh my Lord. This is part of why I stepped back. Was just like, I'm going to let this marinate and see what transpires here before I start covering this again. But this was a hell of an update. I had to. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's get back into it.
In the house was the wife of Rex Heuermann and Rex Heuermann and the other girl. The other girl who we believe to be Karen Brigada. This girl disappears downstairs at the house. Rex Heuermann disappears. And according to our witness and other witnesses I've talked to, when men are swingers with their partner, very often they switch sexually. They go back and forth between male and female. And so Heuermann leaves the main floor and disappears either into another bedroom or downstairs. It's not clear. And the witness talks to Rex's wife. She doesn't want to have sex like she had expected to occur because our client believes our client is an African-American woman.
Bro, I'm telling you guys, I told you it's about to get thick. It's about to get thick. So we have a law enforcement officer, supposedly, delivering a sex worker to the Heuermann household. And not only that, his wife was there, and supposedly is in on the swinging, but she ain't into chocolate, so she wasn't partaking. For real, y'all. I told you this is crazy. I had to cover this.
And Uriman didn't like that. Ellerup, rather, didn't like that. So there was no sex between them, as was originally planned. Instead, the sex is between Uriman and the other man.
You heard that too. And the other man. What? Yo, man, guys, this is getting crazy. If this stuff is true, this case, this whole story behind this Rex Human guy, allegedly, it's getting nuts. It's getting really nuts.
At some point, the witness goes looking for her partner and is kind of upset that he doesn't emerge. He emerges, and finally, they leave, and kind of in a hurry. But when they leave, as they're leaving, the witness points out that she could see in the window, looking out, the girl that had come with them. And she says to her driver, her partner, "What are we doing? Are we taking her?" And the partner says, "Don't worry, they're just playing a game. She stays there, no problem." With that, the girl runs out of the house naked and is running in front of the garage. And now the witness says, "Hey, shouldn't we be taking her? Something's wrong here." And the driver tells her, "No, they're just playing a game. Leave it." And they leave. She never hears about the incident.
Bro, that's one messed up game. Y'all.
Again, she distinctly remembers Uriman. She also had intercourse with Uriman that same day.
So, man, this man's he's a sexual sadist. Like, this man is something else, dude. This is demon time on another level. And this is a big dude too. Like, man, I'd be so scared if I was a woman. Oh my Lord.
And she kind of buries it, forgets about it, until on TV she sees the picture of Karen Bagata, and she recognizes her and said, "That's her," and she recognizes Rex Uriman. And so she comes forward, and I meet her. I interview her at great length. I also had the police department. We arranged for detectives to interview her, and I found her story. I interviewed her for 3 times for a total of 9 hours, and I found her story to be credible. She also mentioned that Rex would go out in the backyard and start a fire at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning in a big barrel that was outside in the back, and she was worried about that too, that it would attract police. Anyway, she seemed credible. She appears to be credible, and she was willing to sign an affidavit to that effect, and that affidavit will be available to everybody.
Dude, I mean, it's literally to an affidavit. Holy crap, y'all! And the commissioner's right there. This is crazy.
And in the details I've just told you, you will find there. The second witness who's come forward. This woman is not a sex worker, never was. She's not a switcher or swapper. She's not involved in any sexual activities whatsoever. She has nothing to gain by coming forward. She's not looking for a book or money or the usual things that you're hearing about out there. None of that. But she came forward because she's very disturbed about what she knows after she also saw Rex Uriman on television and Shannon Gilbert. And here is her story. She's a banker by day, and at night she worked extra in Suffolk County as a taxi driver to take care of her family. It was a one-parent family. As a taxi driver, she is called from her dispatcher to go to the Sayville Motor Lodge on Sunrise Highway, that infamous place that the commissioner here busted a year ago, and for prostitution and other illegal activities. She's called to go to that place.
And this commissioner, man, he's about his business. You can tell he ain't playing around. I think Rex is cooked, man. I think that boy cooked.
And that there's a girl awaiting her who's locked in a bathroom and will come out if she flashes her lights and beeps the horn. And she goes there and does that several times. It doesn't work. But then suddenly a giant man who fits the description of Rex Uriman comes out, and he's covering his face with his arms so he can't be seen, and he runs to a van or an SUV right nearby that's parked right there. She continues to flash her lights and beep her horn, and out comes a girl crying, shaking, very upset, and gets in her car.
Dude, he's pretty, I mean, you know who he is when you see him. 6'4", big old giant overlooking dude. I'm pretty sure that view would be burning your skull, especially if you're a lady, right? Seeing a big old monster like that, it'd be hard to mistake him for somebody else, indeed.
There they talk for a while, and then eventually they drive through the Ronkonkoma Railroad Station so that this girl can go back into New York City. This girl was a sex worker who was servicing the big man, and the man had seduced her into coming to Sayville by several times over the telephone convincing her that he was just a nice man who was going to help and work with her to help her family, her mother, her sisters, and her boyfriend. Shannon has a mother, sisters, and a boyfriend at that time. She had her hair pulled back, and because she often wore wigs. This girl turns out to be Shannon Gilbert. Now, Shannon is lured into doing this particular tryst, and she's given an envelope, or shown an envelope by the man that looked like it was stuffed full of money. And he tells her, there's $1,000 in there. It's for you and your family no matter what happens tonight. She looks in the envelope when he goes to the bathroom, and it's stuffed with paper. And so she panics and realizes something's wrong. So she goes in the bathroom, and he had become very aggressive, very angry. She goes in the bathroom, locks the door, and calls to get a cab.
Dude, at that point, man, oh my Lord, right? You best believe something's wrong. This dude working you with fake money? Yo, he about, red flag, get out.
That's how she comes out. They speak for over an hour. So the driver knows her well and notices that she has a drooping eye, which is characteristic of Shannon, and also a characteristic of her family, by the way, going back for a generation or two. And so she notices that, and it helps her to remember Shannon when she sees her later on. That's the first part of the story. It doesn't end there. This is part two. Several days or weeks later, it's not clear, and this is all occurring in the fall of 2009. This is all occurring. The driver gets another call from the same dispatcher and says that there's a man named Matt who she used to pick up right off of exit 59 in the expressway, and he would be at a bar that was there by, I guess, Ocean Avenue, somewhere over there. She goes there, pulls up on a side street between the bar and a house right next to it, and she sees a girl in a window, and then she sees to the right of her a huge man rising up, coming to the car. He's dressed in camouflage, and he leans in and then jumps in the back seat, sits on the edge, and leans over and starts talking to her, and she's watching him very carefully in the mirror.
Kind of sound, like Rex, big old dude. We know he's a hunter, probably had camo. I mean, it could be him. It could definitely be him. And then, like I said, he's got a very distinct looking face. You know what I mean? And then attached to that massive body, I'm pretty sure, like, you would remember that.
And she recognizes him as the same guy that was at the motel a little while before. And she now knows him to be. She recognizes him from the media as Rex Heuermann. He says to her that he wants her to take him on a long trip into the woods. In other words, he changed the destination she had been told, which caused her immediately to become suspicious. And he was very upset, very angry, and he began to dispute with her when she said, "I'm not going on a long trip anywhere." And with that, he gets extremely angry and threatens to kill her, and tells her, "I already want to kill you. Just give me a reason." And he had a handgun.
Dude, that makes it really sound like he was the previous gentleman that was trying to get after that sex worker that she pretty much saved.
She says, "I'm not going anywhere at this point." And she turns off the car and she says, "You can have the keys, you can have my money, whatever you want. Just let me go. I'll let you have whatever you want." With that, her dispatcher is on the radio, and he says out loud, "We know, we see you, we hear you, we can tell who you are." And the man panics, gets out of the car.
Dispatcher straight save her.
Then able to drive away. She encounters a police car coming the other way. She believes that the police officer was called by a 911 caller on that issue. Could have been the girl who was in the house right next door from where she was. But comes the police, driving slowly with his lights off. She tells him the story, and the man had on a lanyard with a placard of some kind, as if he were a police officer. And she asked him, "Are you a cop?" And he said, "Yes." She said, "From where?" He said, "Brooklyn."
Impersonating a police officer. It wouldn't be the first time we had a serial UnAliver do that, right?
With those facts in mind, she tells the police officer who's driving, "There's one of yours back there, and it looks like he's had a bad day. So you better go see what's what." Words to that effect. She later on hears from her dispatcher that this man, went into the woods and fired off his pistol twice. And she recognizes him very clearly to be Rex Heuermann when she sees him. So she's given us this affidavit as well. There's a pattern that's developing here of Rex Heuermann being somebody who tracks down people and haunts them. And Shannon Gilbert would therefore be no exception. Now, the third witness has not given a statement yet. The third witness contacted me from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That witness clearly recalls being picked up. She was a street walker. She gets picked up by Rex Heuermann.
And why I'm inclined to believe some of these stories is, why would you come out after having that in your past? Why would you want people to know about your past like that, right? If you did that type of work. So to me, it's like, you have all the reason not to come forward. So the fact that these people are coming forward, I mean, unless they're getting paid for this, which that could be important, I don't know, but it just makes it more believable, because I don't think ladies would want to give that information up. But I mean, it's right. It's morally right to do so because it'll help convict this man, right?
He in Queens, and he drives, I think, near the big center there in Queens, and he drives her into a park in Flushing, where he makes her keep her head down at all times, commit oral sex, and then he has a pistol in his hand and tells her, "Get out of the car, or I'm going to kill you, and don't do anything except what I tell you to do, or I'm going to kill you." So she gets out of the car, and he tells her before she does, he tells her, "I want you to pick up another person, another customer." She gets out of the car and immediately pulls up another SUV, and a man driving it, an African American man, and the guy that picks her up is white, and she gets in the other guy's car, and the driver, Rex Heuermann, follows the car. They go. Finally, get out of the car because she panics and pulls the wheel because she sees a cop car coming. So the cop sees them go jaggedy off the road, and the cop stops them. The cop then goes back, talks to Rex and the other driver who gets out and walks back. The cop comes back and tells her, "Lady, if you want to make a complaint, you have to go to the precinct," and drives away. That's her story. She also has no reason. She refuses to come forward. She refuses to have herself identified. I know her name. I know her address. I've given it to the police. They're aware of it, and presumably they're investigating it.
Yo, I want to know. I want more juice on that one. I want to know if that's true. I mean, like I said, why would she just come forward and tell that story unless it's true?
You see the pattern. There's a pattern of a guy who likes to play kind of sporting games with the sex workers, chases them, haunts them, hunts them. That's what we're looking at here, we believe, anyway.
And Huerman's a hunter. I mean, you can tell he's narcissistic. He's got all those sociopathic traits, and he's a hunter. I have nothing against hunters, but this man took it too far. He took it to humans.
The fourth witness, and I'll finish on that, she comes from another state, and she's contacted me as well. I have very lengthy notes and recordings of what we discussed. She was a sex worker for many years, back in the time when all of these killings were occurring, and she serviced Rex Heuermann. She said that she would service Rex Heuermann over 20 times, and that he was a serial user of sex workers. He would sometimes have them come two at a time to his house, and his wife was home upstairs, and in one instance got very angry at one of the sex workers because the wife believed that the worker had stolen an iron from, for ironing clothes, and had it in the.
So that's two separate witnesses claiming that his wife was home during these escapades, which no judgment on anybody that's into that weird stuff, but like she had to have known some stuff was up, man. Allegedly.
Car with the driver. So the driver had to get out. Everybody had to search the car. There was no iron. But the wife knew about it and knew about obviously what was going on in order for that to happen. So she says that in her experience with Heuermann, he was never impolite. He was always nice. He was always funny. He treated her well, and there was no violence. But he certainly had contact with Rex constantly for a period of several years. That's as much as I'm able to tell you. There's plenty of other new evidence, which I think it will take too long at this press conference to discuss. There's plenty of new other evidence.
Dude, and like with all this information we're getting told right now, best believe, guys, there's more. They're sitting on more information than what they're telling us, right? We only ever know about 10%, right? And his investigating that he's doing is going straight to law enforcement, right? He's doing it the proper way. So, yo, they're sitting on some info, man. And this is already blowing my mind as it is. Oh, my Lord, I want to know what they know. Whew. Man, I love that hat, though, guys. You gotta like that hat.
That's similar in kind and consistent with the kinds of things that I've just described to you. So with that thought, I'm hoping that the police department will continue, along with the task force, that they will continue to look into these things, investigate them thoroughly, make the synapses that haven't been made so far, connect them up and connect the dots, as it were. And I think we're getting to where we want to go. Lastly, I am still working on this case. Today, I took Joseph Brewer's deposition, the John for Shannon Gilbert. I just finished it and came here. I'm still actively pursuing this case on my own, as well as cooperating with the police department and the task force. But for people out there who have information and are afraid to come forward to the police, they can talk to me. They can reveal whatever they want. I will reveal it to no one. I reveal these things with their permission, the things that I told you about. But anybody else that still has information, I'm available. My door is open. My phones are open. I can help you. Thank you.
Information presented about Aaron Rodon, who's the first known victim of the serial killer. Does this lead you to make Rex Heuermann the prime suspect in her murder in 1996?
I don't want to make Rex Heuermann the prime suspect. I will say this, and I'll share this over and over again. The creation of the task force got us into a good place of being able to identify Rex for 3 of the sex workers that were discovered, and we're looking very good for the 4th one. But we also added 2 more investigators to the task force to take this type of information in and to pursue it, to follow it, to see if this is credible. That's very important, and that's why people don't.
They taking it serious, man. They ain't playing, dude. He is. I'm telling you, they're putting a lot of energy into this. He's cooked. I truly believe this man's done ski. Oh man, but I wish they could get some of the cooperation in other states because I got a feeling, guys. I got a strong feeling. Just like I knew some more crazy information was going to come out on this, I got a feeling they're going to connect this man to some out of state stuff. I really do. I really do. If we get some cooperation across the board, I really feel like we're going to see that.
Understand, when I first came into this position, I sat down with John Ray, myself and the members of the task force, to have that conversation about information that he may have, and let's make sure we're putting a dragnet out there regarding any information that's coming to us. That's why I'm going to continue my partnership with John. And if people have a reluctancy to come forward to law enforcement and they want to go to John Ray, then it's important that we take this information and then we follow forward with furthering the investigation. So it's still an ongoing investigation. So I'll leave it at that. But once again, is this: we have the information, we're working it, and we'll see where it leads us down the road.
You were saying to us earlier, really no stone unturned, and the fact that there possibly were affidavits that you used to possibly find future victims.
Absolutely, and that's a very good question, and that's why I stand here today with John Ray. People don't want to use our Crime Stoppers hotline, and they feel a lot more comfortable going to John Ray or anybody else. I want to make sure that people understand that we have a job here as law enforcement, as the Suffolk County Police Department, to make sure we investigate every single complaint or interest in this case. Make sure that we look under every single stone to see if there is any connection to Rex Sherman, or if there's a connection to somebody else that may be involved with the bodies that were discovered in Ocean Parkway.
I like this guy. This is how you do your job. This is what you want to hear from a man in this position. I like this guy. He on top of some stuff.
So we could go about a month and a half, depending on 2 months, depending on each one. For one of the affidavits, I was actually sat down with the person myself. That just shows you my vested interest in it. Listen, this is something that's very important to me. I'm going to continue to grind to make sure anybody that had an interaction with our defendant, Rex Sherman, is held accountable in this case. The delivery cab driver, the taxi cab driver. Yeah, that's the one with Shannon Gilbert. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Anybody else?
What year was that? 2007 or 9?
The taxi driver is 2009, the fall of 2009, and she is not absolutely certain of the time frame, but that's where it approximates.
And that's where, Mary, that's where we're going to make sure we're doing our job and trying to nail down time frames, look at radio runs and other things that can help us kind of pinpoint if there is any credibility to these complaints that came forward.
And the commissioner did send 2 detectives to interview the other witness with me, which we did already and at length. Yes. Yeah, it was certainly a question we had to ask. We have to ask many questions to test credibility. And I'm not saying that people wouldn't necessarily lie, although they might, but that they don't remember or they mix up facts with other situations. We had to test all of those things. And so we had to test that too. And in the one case with the witness with the swapping, it bothered her that they left behind this girl, but she had no other reason to think anything of it until she saw this. She actually broke down. She couldn't believe it when she saw the picture and knew that girl. And that happened there with the taxi.
Can you imagine that? You're into some wild stuff and you're in this position that lady was in, and you're basically leaving, and the dude you're with is like, oh no, they're just playing a weird game. Well, you're into some weird stuff already, right? So I mean, playing a weird game where whatever they had going on, whatever she thought it may be, I mean, she might have genuinely thought like there was nothing really bad going on, that they're just some crazy sexcapades or something, man. And then to find out later on that it might have been that, I bet you that lady is devastated. I bet you she has could need some therapy for sure.
The taxi driver did report it. The taxi driver, back when this originally happened, she talked to her cousin was a cop. She spoke to her family. She spoke to other taxi drivers. She told a lot of people about it. And then she did contact Crime Stoppers and report it, and actually talked to them twice, but nobody called her back. So that's long before the commissioner was involved. So she did come forward and she said, well, when it got reactivated, the issue, and she called me. Okay.
So, the way John explained it, and you got to just kind of take this into context. She doesn't have a stake in the game. She's a cab driver at night, has a profession during the day. She's not necessarily from this neighborhood. So, it's little things like that kind of piqued my interest. And once again, is this, why did she come forward, and her role and story and everything? it's something that we need to take a closer look at, and we need to make sure we're investigating it. And that's why the task force will stay in place. That's why we added more manpower to it. We're going to continue to work with our law enforcement partners and see if there's any nexus to our defender Rex Heuermann, or once again, like I said before, if there happens to be another subject out there, we'll look at them as well and see if we can hold them accountable.
Absolute professional. Absolute professional. I'm telling you guys, this dude, I like this guy. I really do.
Well, it's all the bodies that was covered. Let's not rule out Peaches, the Tyler, the Asian male. Those were the names that I shared with Tony, but it doesn't mean that we're not continuing to look at all the bodies that were discovered there. But the ones right now that John has, when it comes to Ms. Fregata and when it comes to Ms. Gilbert, are the ones that we're going to take a closer look at and see if they're connected to our defender. Yeah, so I know our district attorney should be doing an announcement real soon, and he'll keep you advised regarding if there's a nexus to the DNA that was recovered, and if there is a match.
So this one say that Rex had sex with both the woman convicted Fregata and this other man, a detective. So knowing that indicates he's probably potentially bisexual.
A detective. They should be able to track who that is. If it's a detective and he may be connected to that lady through arrest records, they should be able to track that, guys. Oh my god, this is turning into something else.
Does that make it more of a suspect?
Listen, anything is possible, but once again, this is something that we need to investigate. And I'm sure everybody can understand there's a judicial process still going on. There's ongoing investigation now that this information has been provided to us. I can only share but so much, but I will reassure everybody here, we are not done with this investigation. I want to make sure that that's very clear.
Well, I can't say he is, and I can't say he's not. He certainly reactivated interest in himself by what he did up on Bald Hill, which, by the way, you probably know that it's a notorious place for men picking up other men. I've represented several clients from that hill for that very same thing, and Burke was a street smart cop. He's even noted in his disciplinary record for being extremely streetwise. He would have known.
So Burke's a cop. So the other gentleman is a detective. So that's two different law enforcement officers with some weird stuff going on that are connected to this. I don't know, man. Now I'm starting to see why there's conspiracy theories flying around that there was law enforcement involved with these unalivings. You know what I mean? Just conspiracies, though, but it makes sense why some people think that, because it kind of sounds like it. It kind of sounds like what we're hearing.
What goes on up on that hill, but he also would have known the risk he was taking, and he took it anyway. Burke, the risk taker, emerges, first of all, and second of all, Burke, who is interested in men, emerges, which is very much consistent with what I had said for years, that he was cross-dressing when he was with some of my clients, including Loretta Rickenbacker. And that he had that other interest. Do those other interests matter? Sure they do. If you're going to look at the old police department and see why did Burke get to where he went so easily? Could it be that there's more sexual improprieties on higher levels than we originally thought? It's something that should be looked into. We don't know.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
No. Yeah, she contacted me after she saw Rex Heuermann on TV and Shannon Gilbert. And then she contacted me, and then I went to see her, and she's not from the state. That I don't know. I can't say she claimed that. I honestly don't remember whether I asked her that or not. All right, sorry.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks, everybody. We give you the affidavits.
This has been.
Yo, guys, like I says, this is getting crazy, y'all. Getting absolutely crazy. I can't. When I listened to that press conference for the first time, it blew my mind, and I wanted to cover it before this, honestly. But we had some other stuff going on I had to cover. But oh my lord, guys, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that madness, dude? Heuermann. I mean, we already knew the dude was up to some, he was a freak, right? But man, he might have swung both ways. And his wife allegedly, don't come for me, may have been in on it, y'all. Holy crap. This is crazy. Now it makes us wonder, right? Makes you wonder, not so much wonder. Now we kind of understand why her hair was possibly found on victims. Guys, I got questions, man. I got questions. This is, think about it. Dude, I'm not saying she is, but what if she knew? What if she was involved? What if these people are telling the truth and she was a swinger? They were swingers. Man, guys, it wouldn't be the first time a couple has been serial unalivers. This has happened in the past. So is that what we're seeing? Her doing the whole divorce thing and him not contesting it right after it came out that he'd been, that he's being implicated for this and arrested for this. Is that strategy to like help her look innocent and maybe she's not? Guys, I don't know. I think this just got deeper. This just got a lot deeper and a lot crazier. My lord. Oh my goodness. We're definitely gonna I'm gonna have to keep a little bit closer eye on this, and we'll do a live on it, guys. We'll definitely do a live on it. That way, I can get everybody's opinions and thoughts on it. But like I said today, my schedule just doesn't fit for the lives today. I don't want to tell you guys I'm gonna have one and not have one. So if I do, surprise. But if not, it is what it is. So let me give a quick shout out to all the people that have donated this month, the month of October. Give some shout out love for all the people that have donated. All right, I have Sweet Misery True Crime, thank you, ma'am. Miss Jeannie Ange, thank you, ma'am. Miss Dawn, thank you, ma'am. Miss Sassy Seven, thank you, ma'am. Miss Criminal Med, thank you, ma'am. BM Turtle Madness with 3 donations, thank you, ma'am. You rock. Darzilla, thank you, ma'am. And Stony Stone Black Vault News, thank you, sir. I appreciate you guys so much. Because without the donations, guys, I couldn't do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? As far as how often I'm going live and all that stuff, it all costs money for me to run the StreamYard, the YouTube Premium, so we don't deal with commercials, which I know you guys all love not dealing with commercials on this channel. It really helps, right? And then my Canva, all the other stuff I use to produce this show, y'all helping me out with, and I appreciate it so much. So if you do leave a donation, y'all, please leave your screen name, leave me a note, let me know what you think about the channel. I appreciate all the feedback. Other than that, though, all the links to donate are in the channel description and the video description. All the links to get a hold of me on social media or to get a hold of me on my email to inquire about cases, either give me information that you got that you want me to cover, or just send me a case request, case or trial you want me to cover. That's how you get a hold of me. Please get a hold of me. That's what this channel's about, is I'm here for y'all. So let me know, guys. Let me know. That's it. That's all I got for this one, for this premiere. Man, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, because I know I am. I know it's a busy day, but it's a beautiful one. We all live and breathe this. So with that being said, it's your boy, the real Piscine Predator, aka TPP, baby. And until next video or the next live, I'll see y'all later. Much love. Peace.